Hola chickadees, my name is Sarahtiel and we're continuing off with the case trial of Prince Kirito and I'm trying not to be nervous because I feel like I can actually try to maybe do this. If I mess up, I'll have to, of course, go back and retry again, which is, I'm very thankful I can actually do that. So, and the audio in this is a little different from the last case. I think the last case we had like some kind of music, but right now it's just like a ticking of a clock. What's going on? Falcon, Severin, nervous. Wait, what was his voice again? I forgot. Nervous. Why'd I be nervous? I'm not nervous. I'm as calm as a cuckoo. You're the nervous one. This whole courtroom is nervous.
Whoa, cool your feathers, Falcon.
Terrible. You can't even maintain a stoic facade. I thought this trial would go perfect opportunity to you redeem your previous embarrassment. But if this is how you act before the trial has even started, why would you, pompous tail, posture perfect? Oh, what? Uh-oh. I feel like for some reason, just after seeing the judge as a Volp, I feel like this might be going really bad. I hope it doesn't though. What? Okay. So he likes, every Volp can look the same, but this almost looks exactly like the guy from like the missing scene cut. Oh, I'm in for a whirl of trouble, aren't I? What? Again, voices. Order! All settle down! Court is now in session!
Psst, Falcon.
What is it?
Is it me or does the primary judge look hairier?
It's a different person today. That's a different judge to the one who recited over Dame Kathleen's trial, you doofus.
Oh, still, it's a little strange, isn't it?
To me, it is a little. It is a little, I suppose.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I was under the impression that Judge Maxime would be residing in the case. Where is he?
Judge Maxime has gone on a temporary sick leave due to terrible accident with a flight of stairs. But rest assured, Assirs, prosecutor, defense, the members of the jury are more than qualified to fill his shoes. Without further ado, let's get the show underway. This is the trial of Prince Juan Kirito, who stands accused of murdering Major Howell of the conspiring to murder the king himself. Roll call! The defense present is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Good, very good. Let's expect to be a nice, speedy trial. I don't want to see this dragged out by any technicalities or bureaucracy. Well said, Your Honor. I expect that once the court sees your overwhelming evidence that this trial will be over in 5 minutes. 5 minutes?
He's just messing with your health, Falcon. Keep it together.
So we're all on the same page. Excellent. After I had the 3 little piggies for lunch, I feel like this is going so well. Prosecutor, please call your first witness to the stand. Very well. I call the police officer who investigated the crime scene. I call upon Inspector Just Flirty. We've seen this guy. Step up to the stand, Inspector. Recite the oath. Oh, yeah, he's our rival. Or not our rival, but he was the last guy that went for Dame Kathleen's. Of course, he's an inspector, but these are new people. I expected it to be a new person. I swear to speak the truth and hatred without fear, to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Please recite your name and occupations for the court record. My name is Inspector Just Flirty. I'm the servant to the law, a scourge of the gutter rats. That will do, Inspector. Well, I heard him in my monologue before.
Whoa. Whoa, Kokoro, he really is going for a speed record, isn't he?
Now, can you tell us what you witnessed on the morning of the 7th of January? Oh, of course. At 10 o'clock. In the morning, I was called to Lavry's Grand Gallery by one of the king's royal guards.
Did he just say o'clock?
Even Sparrowson's so confused. There I saw how Prince Juan, Louis Philippe of the corpse of Major Howell with a rose at hand, around the 24 citizens. The citizens of the king himself all attest to seeing Major Hal taken to the rose of Prince Juan's hands and then promptly dropping dead. And what did the morgue uncover upon examination of the corpse? The coroner determined the absolute certainty that Major Hal died of poisoning. Aside from the prick on the finger, there was no sign of external harm unto Major Hal's body. Maybe he ate the chocolate bar. Did I ask the elephant whether Major Hal took the chocolate bar? Maybe he got food poisoning. I don't know. I think I already asked him and he said no. But again, I'm just going leeway thinking like elephants should never forget. But I don't know. Therefore, the poison rose must have been the cause of death. Putting the pieces together, that does seem very implicative of the prince. I have no further questions. Damn, I was hoping the coroner's report would determine that the guy died from a freak heart attack or something.
That would be the make of a particularly speedy trial, wouldn't it? But no, we aren't so lucky.
We really aren't, Sparrowson. Excuse me.
Something else must be amiss in the old bird's testimony.
Oh, gosh dang it. Right, I'll tear it apart. Your Honor, I wish to cross-examine the witness. Falcon, wasn't it? Don't waste your court's time. A high-ranking police officer would never lie on the witness stand. I wouldn't accuse Inspector of lying. I just want to make sure that every base is properly covered. Ugh, this sounds pointless, nitpicking to me, but I'll allow it for now. Go on, Falcon. Do your cross-examination. Okay. How am I gonna open up to you? At 10 o'clock in the morning, I was called to Louvre's Grand Gallery by a royal guard. There I saw Prince Juan, King Louis Philippe, the corpse of Major Hal with a rose in hand, and around 24 citizens. Our coroner determined that Major Hal died of poisoning. Kinda, like, what type? Inspector, you say that the coroner determined with certainty that Major Hal was killed by poison. Correct. He stated the signs and symptoms were textbook. There is no possibility that his death was natural. What kind of poison was it? How is Major Hal poisoned? How or what? How or what? Let me look at the other questions before I even make anything. Never mind. Okay. So that was this one. I'm gonna go over the list of questions I have. So 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, you say? Correct. 10 o'clock. Surely you mean o'clock? I'm not gonna ask. That's a silly question. How long did it take you to arrive? I don't think that matters either. Major Hal. Inspector, I'd like to ask you about the victim, Major Hal. Who was he? What if he was the intended victim? Ooh, that's a good question, but don't think that links to what did Fulp say? He said he was covering up for a lady. What if Major Hal was actually working against Scene? Ooh. No, because either her or another person needed to kill the king, which it didn't work and it killed Mr. Hal. And then Fulps is somehow helping to cover it up and not have her be thrown out of jail. He could be the intended victim, Major Hal, but because he's a guard, he could be just helping to save the king, because they're guards. So, as much as how witty and clever that question is, I really don't think that's it. Maybe I'm wrong and I'll go back to it, but 24 citizens. Inspector, you say that there were around 24 citizens, of all whom attest seeing my client deliver the poisoned rose.
Oh boy, when you put it like that, our situation seems a little dire, doesn't it?
Correct. We collected precisely 22 testimonies, and there were no major inconsistencies. Are their testimonies trustworthy? Ooh, what exactly did they say? If we ask him this question, what actually would they say? That a person died? That... oh gosh. Are the testimonies trustworthy? They could be trustworthy. We can ask him, like, if he knew Rubinio, because Rubinio only knew, like, so... he didn't even know. I think he kind of knew, but he didn't really know what was going on with the action. So... I'm gonna go back to this question, because what kind of poison was it? How is Major Hal poisoned? Well, obviously he'd be maybe saying that he was poisoned by the rose. What other thing you'd be thinking he was poisoned? What kind of poison was it? Did the coroner mention... I'm sorry, I keep readjusting my seat. Did the coroner mention specifically what kind of poison it was? He was not certain. At first, the coroner posited that it was a plant-borne poison like the one on the aconite flower. But when he learned how fast the poison had taken effect, he noted that this was a typical of aconite. How do you pronounce that? I think aconite? Consequently, he suggested that it may have been some newly engineered concoction. A newly engineered poison, you see. Well, that only reaffirms that this was a very deliberate assassination attempt. Indeed. So it's a plant-based poison. Maybe it was the rose. No. Never mind. What kind of evidence do we have? I actually haven't read these. Or, not this, but this one. A daisy sold to us by Mademoiselle Scene. A sprig of monkshood sold to us by I'm gonna actually see if these are actually poisonous. I don't think so. Okay, monkshood. Poison location. Sap, flowers, seeds, leaves, and all the members of the greatest concentration of the toxin occurring in vigorous growth shoots. Dried plants, the material is usually harmless. Poison type. Buttercups and... Am I reading this? Typical poisoning scenario. Contact and or consumption of the leaves of the flowers by livestock or by children who are attracted by the often showy flowers, in this case of buttercups and clematis. The strong acrid taste deters further consumption, so fatalities are rare. The poisons in monkshood, Delphinium, marsh, marigold, other possible cause of poisoning by this group of plants is abuse of herbal medicines. Symptoms. Cause of irritation of blistering on the skin if handled and swallowed, intense burning of the mouth and digestive tract. But it wouldn't kill them. It shows it doesn't... I just looked it up. It doesn't show it would kill him, so... I mean, if somehow Monk's head was put onto the rose, it wasn't. So I don't know what other questions to ask him. I guess... Okay, maybe ask, what exactly did they say? Again, oh my gosh. I would like to ask some further details. What actually did the testimonies say? Each citizen attested seeing the king and his entourage approaching the new painting in the Grand Gallery. They each heard the king deliver a short speech which was on the subject of progress and societal improvements and whatnot. There was some applause. Then Prince Juan stepped out of the crowd and approached the king with a rose in his hand. Each person then saw Major Hal take the rose from Prince Juan, and then each person saw Major Hal drop dead. I see. Some of these descriptions of the man's death was quite graphic. He convulsed, twisted, and spasmed, said one witness. His mouth frothed like he was a rabid lunatic, said another. Thank you, Inspector. I think we get the picture. Dude, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna ask him? So, are these trustworthy? These are live people. Shoot, never mind. Let me go back on the other questions again. 10 o'clock. Surely you mean o'clock. No. How long did it take you to arrive? Maybe? Major Howell. Who was he? What if he was the intended victim? I don't know. I'm going with it. We have been treated in this case as if an intended murder target was King Louis Philippe. But there's another possibility. What if the killer was trying to murder Major Howell from the very beginning?
JJ, stop talking. You just said something very stupid. I could explain why and humiliate you in front of the whole court. Alternatively, you could retract your question right now, and I will save you humiliation for another day.
You're bluffing. I know you bluff when I see one, Severin. My question stands. Okay, here goes. My array of reasons for your question was unfathomably stupid. First, it doesn't absolve your client of any guilt. If the defendant was intending to murder Major Howell, then he is still guilty of murder and would likely face the same punishment as before. Second, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody has a motive to kill Major Howell, but plenty have a motive to kill the king. Alright, I get it. Third, many citizens attested to seeing the defendant deliberately try to approach the king himself, not the Major Howell. But intentions were clear to everyone present. Fourth, prosecutor, that will do. Defense don't ask stupid questions. Oh, give me I do. Major Howell's guard. How am I? Tricky. Poisoning. What was the other questions on this? Correct, he stated the signs and stuff. How is Major Howell poisoned? Oh gosh, this is hurting me so much. And I don't mean like, take a frickin' poison rose to my heart kind of frickin' like hurting me, but like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna go by every question and feel like the most stupidest person ever. How exactly was Major Howell poisoned? What was the delivery mechanism? His finger was pricked by the poisoned rose. He even commented out loud about it in seconds before dying. All 22 citizens who witnessed the murder attested to seeing and hearing this. Is there any possibility that he was poisoned by something else? What an absurd thing to ask, JJ. You just heard that 22 people saw the victim prick his finger and die. What are you suggesting? That he pricked his finger had no relation to the poisoning? That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I have no doubt that Major Howell was poisoned, but I do doubt that the rose was the cause. Unbelievable! Only a total buffoon could fail to draw the blatant link here. JJ, as attempting is to hear and lecture you on the basics of cause and effect. I'll end this discussion painlessly. Maybe Major Howell is allergic to chocolate? He's a dog. Maybe. I don't know. Inspector, please tell the defense that your founder traces of poison on the thorns or a rose itself. That should alleviate all the doubt and all the rose and the fact the poison delivery mechanism. Actually, I can't tell him that. I dread to ask, why not? Well, we didn't check the rose for traces of poison. It just seemed obvious that the rose caused the poisoning given the timing of the incident. Well then, now would be a good time to make a test. Here's a marvelous thought. We prick the finger of the defendant with the rose. If there's no poison on the rose, then Prince Juan lives and he is free to go. If the rose is poisoned, then Prince dies. But that's okay because the punishment would be just fitting for the crime. A marvelous suggestion. What is this, a witch trial? This isn't America, Severin. That's not how we do things here. Calm your feathers, JJ. It was clearly a joke. There are a few more humane ways of testing for fear poison. I'm sure the inspector will perform his duty with due diligence. Actually, we won't be able to test the rose for poison at all. Why is that? Given the dangerous nature of the flower, it was Destroyed? By the police force. It was burned to ashes. Such an professionalism. If we have no way to know whether the rose is poisoned, then this whole trial ought to be called into question. Nice try, JJ, but the thought of the process of reasoning by elimination, we can still deduce the absolute certainty that the rose was poisoned. In other words, there was nothing else at the crime scene that could have caused the poisoning. Wrong! There was something else at that crime scene that could have contained the poison. Something that investigative police blindly overlooked. The chocolate bar! Look at this. What am I supposed to be looking at? Is it the paper, the wrapper, the piece of chocolate? It was found on Livry, the Soul de Priya de Precise, and we can date the consumption to the day of the incident. You're not suggesting that Major Howell ate a piece of poisoned chocolate moments before he died? I most certainly am. Intriguing, pretty convincing. You gain a little favor. Yes! Did you see the wrapper in the crime scene yourself, Inspector? The police force did not have the time nor resources to trial every piece of trash at every crime scene, I'm afraid. In other words, you overlooked it. Astounding unprofessionalism. The prosecution is right to be disgusted. What disgraceful display, Inspector. I offer my apologies, Your Honor. I don't want your apologies. I want you to do your damn job properly. Get off the witness podium before I kick you off myself. As you wish. I'll take my leave. Until next month, Monsieur.
So let me get this straight. This chocolate wrapper was found at the crime scene.
Correct.
And you have the reason to believe that this was consumed on the day of the incident.
I do. I have the expert food tasting witness who's willing to testify if need be.
You have a chocolate foodie witness? I don't recall anyone like that. Who on earth would you be talking about, Falcon? Oh, me. I can be in. Oh, I see.
But who do you know for certain that Major Howell consumed this chocolate? Well, that is the fact that we are investigating. I see, and do you have the evidence that this chocolate was in fact poisoned? Again, that is something I may require a little bit more time to definitely prove. So that in actuality, you do not have the evidence that Major Howell consumed some poisoned chocolate. Instead, you have the solitary piece of rubbish that you plucked straight out of the gutter. That's weak, even for you, JJ. Let's move things along. I have another witness I'd like to summon. Oh, he's a man who claims to have had an excellent review of the people going out of the Louvre at the time of the incident. Is this the king? I call upon Monsieur Toussaint Kingsley. Could the witness please approach the stand and recite the oath? Oh, no. It's just Kingsley.
Hello. Alright, the oath. I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Please state your full name and occupations for the court record.
My name is Toussaint Kingsley. I'm the person who fishes.
A person who fishes, so you're a fisherman?
Oh, is that how it is? I thought the French justice system was better than this.
I beg your pardon?
Here comes Toussaint Kingsley, the kingfisher. Clearly he must be a fisherman because, didn't you hear? All kingfishers are fishermen. Well, you are carrying a fishing rod. And can I not carry a fishing rod? Real bait without being branded a fisherman? Look. Prosecutor's carrying a riding crop. Clearly he must be a horse jockey.
Oh, for pity's sake, fine. We can list your occupation as a person who fishes and not a fisherman. Thank you. Actually, why do you carry a riding crop, Severin? I've never seen you ride a horse. I don't know, JJ. Why do you 30-something-year-old with no health problems carry a cane? This is veering quite far from the course. Could you, prosecution, please get back to the questions? Of course, Your Honor. Monsieur Kingsley, is it true that you're nearby Louvre at the time of the incident?
Yes, I was sitting upon the railing of Pont des Arts.
Where is that? So, is this the river? Oh, there we go. Pont des Arts, around right there. The Pont des Arts, it's the new bridge that has just a stone's throw from the Louvre's south entrance, correct?
That's right.
And what were you doing at the time of the incident?
I was fishing. Kingfishers, am I right, Falcon?
So, you had plenty of opportunity to see the people who had entered and exited the place. Can you tell us who you saw?
Well, the Louvre's busy place. Naturally, I saw a lot of people. But at 9 a.m., I saw the king, Louis Philip himself, enter the building. He was surrounded by entourage, of course. Then around 9:30, I saw this shifty-looking fox lurking around the entrance. Your Honor, I object the witness's use of term shifty-looking. It's a vague and biased description. No, really, he looks super shifty. I saw him rubbing his paws and cackling gleefully. And then I saw him take out a rose and carefully rub the stem. Rub the rose, you say? And as if you were applying something to the flower, perhaps? Well, monsieur, I really shouldn't speculate. Of course, it was wrong to me to ask such a leading question. Yeah, it definitely looked like he was putting some sort of powder on the stem. Wow! Even I wasn't expecting such a bold admission. Members of the court, it sounds like we have here a direct witness of the defendant reading the murder weapon. The defense claims that the rose was never poisoned, yet here we have a man who saw the poison with his own eyes. I smell perjury. I smell it too, Sparrison. It's smelling a lot like old eggs. Oh. Where's the note? I don't know where that smell. Yeah, it smells terrible, Sparrison. You do? No question. You saw a shifty-looking criminal reading a poison and cackling near the scene of the crime. That's not believable at all. I think you might be right. I wonder if I have any evidence that caused Toussaint's story an end to doubt. Your Honor, I would like to cross-examine the witness. Really? The nonsense again? You should just heard the witness directly describe your client readying the poison on a rose. Where is that the question? I'm just trying to uncover the truth, Your Honor. Ugh, fine, do your thing. Go on, Falcon. Go make a fool of yourself. Cross-examining King. I was sitting upon the Ponty Arts at 9 a.m. I saw the king and his entourage enter the building. Then around 9:38 in the morning, I saw this shifty-looking fox lurking around the entrance. Shifty-looking. I saw him take out a rose and carefully rub the stem like he was applying some sort of powder. I'm going from bottom to top. I'm not even going from top to bottom. Monsieur Kingsley, you said you saw a fox rubbing the stem of the rose. Yep, saw it with my own eyes. Are you sure you saw powder? Are you sure it was a rose? Let me look at my evidence. So, of course... Oh, of course. Monk's hood. Again, it doesn't... It's... Again, that's what it shows. It's not totally, like, deathly, like, to kill you. What can I ask him? What evidence could I have? They said they burned the rose. Maybe this is just a duplicate but without poison. Or maybe I'm holding it without actually showing them. Maybe you did 2 roses? I don't know. They said they burned the evidence, but somehow I still have a rose in my hand. Maybe for some reason I don't think I'm gonna bring the book into the evidence, but it's possible for some reason. Sure, it was that. No questions about the rose. Ponce d'Arts, that was on... Yeah. Right side of the map. The gallery was on the bottom. Monsieur Kingsley, you saw that you were sitting upon the railings of the Ponce d'Arts on the morning of the incident. Yep. Is that a good fishing spot? What entrances can you see from the bridge? That's a good question. Hold up, before I even ask that, I'm gonna look at the other possibilities. King and his entourage enter the building. Monsieur Kingsley, you say that you saw the king himself enter the Aviary. Indeed I did. Are you sure? Who was in the king's entourage? Another good question. Never mind, I'll ask something else. Shifty-looking fox. Monsieur Kingsley, you saw a shifty-looking fox. Yep, super mega shifty. Are all foxes shifty-looking? Are you sure that a fox was Prince Juan? Yeah, I was probably sure. Never mind. Okay. I'm gonna ask him who was with them. It might be a silly... Indeed I did. Who was in the king's entourage? Who did you see in the king's entourage? Well, there was the king himself, obviously.
And there was quite a few guards, maybe 4 or 5, including a big dog over here who died, Major Howell. I think that was all. I see. So Major Howell, or at least what he says. Are you sure that King and his entourage... Powder. Yep, saw my other. Are you sure you saw powder? Are you sure it was a rose? Are you sure you saw powder? Tricky, tricky, tricky. Are you sure you saw powder? How far away were you from the south entrance? 20 meters perhaps? 30? I'm somewhat doubtful that you can make out powder being applied to anything at some sort of distances.
Monsieur, I don't claim to have seen the powder itself. I said that it looked like he was applying powder to the flower stem. It could have been wax or liquid or whatever, but the guy was definitely putting something on that flower.
I see. Well, that's nice and vague. So even though he said powder, he's still trying to like go off from the subject. Ow, my... Okay. Sure was a rose indeed. Ponty Arts. Railings, yep. What entrances can you see from the bridge? Monsieur Kingley, you had a good view of the Livry's south entrance, didn't you?
Yep, the Ponty Arts is a great vantage point for seeing the Grand Gallery's south side.
What about the other entrances?
The other entrances? You mean like if you were entering from the Tuileries Garden to the Place du Carrousel? No, I couldn't possibly see those other areas from the bridge.
But of course, that isn't relevant. Monsieur Kingley witnessed Prince Juan entering the south entrance from the flower in hand, and that's what counts. What if Prince Juan used another entrance? What if Prince Juan didn't enter from the south entrance? What if he approached from the Livry from... Shoot! Oh! I got myself into a big mess. The Place du Carrousel to the north. Tuileries Garden to the west. 'Cause he came from the west and he dropped the page! Maybe. Tuileries Garden to the west? That's a big what if. Do you have any evidence that Prince Juan entered from the Louvre from the Tuileries Gardens? As a matter of fact, I do. I have definitive proof that the Prince Juan approached from the west, not the south.
Hey, I know that! I know what I saw, monsieur.
I'm doubtful too. Go on, JJ, show this definitive proof that Prince Juan entered from the Louvre from this Tuileries Garden. I keep giving him like a shifty thing. The page. Look at this. A book page? Page 44 of Don Quixote, specifically from the just found outside Livry's west entrance. This proves nothing. I'm not done yet. Take a look at this. Don Quixote. This is the book Prince Juan has reading in the jail since his arrest. I believe he has had it to the person for some time. And yes, page 44 is missing. That was the first thing I checked. You do realize what this means, don't you, Severin? That the defendant was present in Tuileries Garden to prove the entrance of Livry. This is all meant that is all in likelihood. The defendant entered the Livry from the west entrance, not the south. He could not possibly have been by the Monsieur Kingley from the Ponty Arts.
What? I know what I saw, monsieur.
Fine theory, Falcon, but what the defendant took away to look around. One can only travel from the Tuileries to Livry's south entrance all by walking around the wither. An extra 2 kilometers of walking just to enjoy the pre-murder scenery. Let's not say things, Cocorico. Cocorico, yeah. Okay, but maybe the defendant deliberately left the page there to mislead the investigation. Now you're just ones who's blindly speculating. It's not speculation. It's a viable hypothesis. You are a fun logic, aren't you, Cocorico? Let's talk about the Occam's razor. Well, torn between 2 seemingly equal hypotheses, we must decide that one of these imposes the fewest assumptions. Which of these theories take fewer assumptions? 1. The page from Prince Juan's book fell his way to Livry's south entrance. Or 2. Prince Juan deliberately planted the page of the off chance that it would have been discovered that he took way too long around. How dare you, the nerve of you to lecture me on this such basic philosophical concepts. I'll stop lecturing you when you have stopped making such basic mistakes. Monsieur Falcon, please calm yourself. What is the point of all this yammering? The ultimate point is that Toussaint's testimony is fabricated, made up. utter fiction.
No, everything I've said is the truth.
I suspect that the witness isn't even a fisherman.
I'm not a fisherman.
See, he admits it himself.
That's not what I meant.
Innocent, perhaps? What a twist! You gained a little favor from the jury. Prosecutor, you have something that you will put this arrogant falcon in his place, don't you? I must concede. You concede? On this point, at least, Falcon's evidence strongly suggests that the key component of Monsieur Kingley's testimony is false.
No!
This doesn't mean that the Prince Juan is innocent, of course. All Falcon has demonstrated is that his particular witness is unreliable.
But I did see something. I really did. Alright, so maybe I didn't exactly see a shifty-looking fox. I made up that part of the story up. But I did see a swan lurking around the south entrance on the morning of the murder.
A swan? Duh, shut up. Witness, your word is mad at this point. How can you possibly trust anything you have to say? Your Honor, Judge Ramolas, we're out of time. We're 10 minutes overdue to the start of Hare v. Tortoise trial. Is that late already? Curses. I was hoping we could have the case wrapped up in a single trial session.
It is a shame, but ultimately the accurate sentencing is always preferable to speedy sentencing.
Yes, alright. Don't need to hear your moralizing. Court will resume this Friday, the 24th of January at 9 o'clock. Don't be late. Prosecutor, do your damn job. Get this stupid fox a conviction already. I will do my best to ensure this justice is served, Your Honor. We have leeway.
A lot came up in this trial, huh?
Yeah, no doubt about that.
But something's bothering me. Why would the fisherman guy Monsieur Kingley lie to the witness stand?
Maybe he likes attention. Maybe he was coerced? I don't know what that word means. I'll just go with that, because I don't know. Well, it's possible that he was coerced or bribed.
Well, that's just what I was thinking. Maybe the real murderer threatened the fisherman into making up a story with Prince Juan.
Let's make up an open mind. Anything is possible at this stage. But to be perfectly honest, something is bothering me about the trial. I'm very curious. Why did he mention seeing? None of, or at least what he said, or at least Cocorico. No, not Cocorico. The first guy. He said he saw a lot of testimonies, or like a lot of people there. He never mentioned, or at least the people who were in the stand mentioned a swan. I mean, she would be another person just to add on to like other witnesses. But like, yeah. Mademoiselle Seen, I believe that she plays a key part in this case, but getting her all to tell the story is proving difficult.
Surely you don't think she's the real murderer?
Excuse me, Mr. Falcon. It's Remington! Sorry to bother you, but this letter has just arrived. I think it's for you. A letter for me? I wonder why it wasn't sent to my office.
Have you been demoted to courier status, Rupert?
Oh, hush, Sparrowson. I'll need be paid by your first year dropout.
Oh, good comeback. So what does the letter say, Falcon?
Is this from Volp? It's a threat made by cutout newspaper letters.
Whoa! I didn't think those things actually existed. Let me see. Falcon, stop your investigation. There will be consequences.
Scary. There is no question that this letter originated from Major Howell's murderer. He or she must be aware that we are getting close to uncovering the truth.
Sounds about right. But why would this person write without a cutout newspaper letters like this?
Masking one's handwriting would be the most common reason. Although I can't help but wonder why it bothers since we don't have any handwriting samples to compare it to.
Weird. We're still going on the lead with our investigation though, right?
Absolutely. Oh yes, absolutely. If a lawyer was deterred every time they received a threatening letter, they would never get the work done. Besides, with only 3 days before the trial next session, we can't afford to be worrying about petty things like this.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wow, you're right. Let's make those days count.
I'm gonna save new day. Alright, so this is getting, again, I'm loving each trial I go, and I did a lot better than the last trial. I'm becoming more speculating, being more sharp. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a punch. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya! voice is still trying to get used to all these different voices. I can't do them all. It hurts, but I'm warming up.